Welcome, everyone, to Life of Giants. And the quote for today is all is fair in love and war. And it is credited to John Lyly. I am one of your hosts, Dino the Genetic Marvel. And below is Mr. Cole Clayton. How are you today, sir?
Navy Blue 22. Good. I'm a little sick.
You are,
I'm
well,
down with a
listen.
cold.
I mean, it was
In the
bound
middle
to
of
catch up to
fucking
you.
June.
It's bound to catch up to you, all the mental problems you have. At least you
mental
admit it.
problems causing my physical problems. Got you.
I mean, hey, chicken or the egg? Who knows? That's just.
I feel like my mental problems would make me physically strong.
No, that's only Down syndrome that does that. That's
Down syndrome people don't get sick?
yeah, no, they get just really strong because they don't have inhibitions like normal people do.
I don't know. I'm pretty retarded. I'm pretty strong, like physically strong.
Maybe you are retard strong. That's possible. Who knows?
I'm a carpet installer. We're all pretty dumb.
I mean, it's not true.
No, it is. I've met them.
I'm
like
I
the
don't.
second smartest person in that industry. Which isn't big, but
It's not. That's not a comment. That's not a positive thing to say to a bunch of people. But hey, what are you gonna do? That's
they know. I've told them.
one of those. Jesus.
They're like, you want to fight? No.
Hello, Victoria.
Because you're dumber than me.
I mean, I feel like that's frustrating, right? Because you're like, oh, you can only be strong if you're dumb. You're like, that's not fair. That's not. I feel like I'm pretty smart and strong. I don't know. Yeah. So, how do you feel about soon to get draft? Are you amped up about it? What are you?
I'm not getting drafted. I'm too old.
I mean, hey, at this point, I feel like they're gonna say screw the age limits and they're just gonna go by weight guidelines.
They're not. But, first off, our president is a draft dodger.
Yes.
So right. I just don't see it.
I feel like there hasn't been a president that served in the military for quite some time, though. No.
But Daddy Bush was the last one, I believe.
Yeah,
but he was CIA. Does that count?
I don't know if that. Well, maybe
a field agent for the CIA.
Let me see. I'm gonna Google this too. I want to see who was the last president that served in the military. Yeah, it was Bush. Yeah, so Bush was the most recent president to have served in combat as an aircraft carrier-based bomber pilot in World War II. No. So the rest of them,
shit.
bunch of cowards. No, I don't know. I feel like that's the one thing, like with everything that's happening right now, is clearly it's terrifying and who knows how things are going to work out. But at the same time, it's there are a lot of things to consider, and I feel like it's weird to be in this scenario again, like for the second, third, fifth time in the last 25 years. I don't know. What's up, LAX Sport? How are you? I don't know. It's one of those things. But what would you consider something that is, because the quote is all is fair in love and war. What are exceptions to that rule? How do you, or what do you think?
Geneva Convention, first off.
Or in Canada, as we call them, the Geneva Suggestions. Ha ha ha. Suck it.
You haven't even been in action since the Geneva Convention.
We have been in action the entire time, just so you know. This is my last video by.
Help. That does not count.
How are we going to help you when you're on the internet? This is my last video. Calm down. Just what do you need help with? Why don't you tell us? Tell us what you're thinking. Yeah, no. Canada's seen military service, has seen action for quite some time. They've been involved in everything you guys have been involved in. We should do it better and quieter. You guys are too loud. You're so loud, assholes.
You know what's funny about war crimes?
Tell me.
They're only war crimes if you lose.
That's true. That is they're only war crimes if you get caught doing them. That's fine. I'm going to get kidnapped.
Even if you get caught, you can win.
Listen, this is my last video. Bye. Take it from somebody who has been kidnapped. It might not be that bad. You might have a good time. May go to Florida.
We gotta like put a pin in that topic for a while. I feel like we're turning into a broken record over here.
I mean, it's something to say.
Yeah, I guess so. But
I mean, it
like
is.
we've kicked that horse into its grave.
Let's be honest. We could start a podcast calling "Kicking That Dead Horse" and just tell a whole bunch of stories we've told a million times. It still works. Yeah, no, that's the weird part is, and even now, like a lot of the things that are happening, there are a lot of people who have been. No, I'm joking. I'm not kidnapped. Well, you took all the fun out of it. How dare you? There's a lot of things going on right now that are terrifying. That's for sure. But like people are doing stuff and they're like, no, we're exempt from that. And you're like, no, that's not how that works. It's very.
To be honest with you, I really am not that scared.
No,
I'm in Cleveland. Like,
I know. Well,
they've been making fun of us to the point where nobody thinks anything's here in the first place, and all they ever show is East Cleveland on the TV, and they think that's all of Northeast Ohio. It's not. It's just East Cleveland.
Yeah. And
but for the record, it is all of Northeast Ohio.
And also East Cleveland. Yeah, you don't want to go there. Don't do that. No, it's not gonna.
The good part of Cleveland.
Oh, East Cleveland's the good part.
Yeah. For the record, let the record show. Iran.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, if you want to hit anything, hit East Cleveland, Iran. That's what you got to do. Yeah, if you want to really make your mark, that's where you're looking.
I usually don't hit East Cleveland. That's too close to my house. For some reason, 20 minutes doesn't feel that far away from a nuclear fucking drop.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That's, you know what? Okay, so I have found myself over the last few years, I keep on Googling the maps of like, people make maps about like, okay, if this city was hit with a nuclear attack, how far out would things be affected? And I'm like, all right, I think I'm okay in Toronto. That's because I'm also like on the outskirts of Toronto.
Too fucking close to the Atlantic, bro. Yeah, I mean, I'm far enough away where I don't think we'll see them coming. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like that.
But I feel like Toronto's on the Atlantic pretty much, right?
Toronto, no, we're just north of New York State, right? So like, yes and no, kind of
on the Atlantic.
Not up here though. Here we have a significant. So remember the.
Okay, but are y'all the closest major city to the Atlantic in Canada?
No, not even close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just don't trust a bunch of like hillbillies and rednecks. It's not that I don't trust them. I do trust them, actually. I just don't think the city folk will. The city folk will write them off. They don't know what they're fucking talking about. B-2 bombers.
Listen.
Bro, those are the people you do listen to.
Yes, we do.
They're calling it out by name. They know exactly what it is.
We're protected between where I am and the Atlantic. We're protected by the French, so we'll be fine. They don't give up for anything.
Oh, Quebec is closer to the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're right there.
Fuck them. Fuck them, dude.
Let them get bombed. That's fine. East Cleveland and Quebec. Feel free, Iran. You do that. Yeah. It'll be fine. Nothing too big, though. Nothing too big.
They would go through the Pacific. They're not gonna. That makes no logistical sense at all. But if they went through the Pacific, they could just get California.
Oh, we could all dream of that. Come on.
It's not gonna happen.
Look up. No. Cleveland schools don't teach geography. Joke's on you. Just American schools in general don't teach geography.
Cleveland.
Listen,
I barely went to school, sir.
I've explained this a few times, and the fact is that we were this close to the United States of America having to learn geography and shit. And then Trump got elected, and all of our hopes and dreams fell apart. That was it.
Let's pivot real quick. Back to the beating of the dead horse.
Yeah.
But an interesting new wrinkle in the thing. I thought about it. 6 months I was gone, right? Didn't go to school the whole time.
Yeah,
about that.
That's a lot of alarms that go off. So, like, this is the thing is,
you have to think I was 6. I was in, like, first grade or something.
Yeah, that's a lot of red flags jump out on that. Like,
that's like right away. Like, that's the beginning of school.
Yeah.
You know?
Go to the Google. Jesus, this is my last video. Bye. What? You got to make more sense. Why are you such a bad person?
So
Yeah, I know.
I think that's why like I'm so combative to like facts
Yeah.
because like
Well,
I wasn't like indoctrinated
maybe. I
until I
mean,
was
hey,
like 14, and then I was just like, this all sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
grade 1 is like the prime time for really squashing people's sense of self, right? Like
Right.
that's if you do it when they're young, you're good for later on. You have a good
So
worker that won't abandon.
so I went to 5th grade, I went to 6th grade, and then I went to ninth, 10th, and 11th, and I graduated my 11th year.
Yes.
Okay. So 5th grade, all right, this is what's crazy to me. All right. And I'm not gonna say anything controversial. All right. It's gonna
Mm,
sound controversial at first, but I promise it's just gonna raise some eyebrows. All
I
right.
don't
So
believe you.
here we learned about World War II, right?
Yes.
And who the bad guys are.
Right.
Quotations. Okay. And
Yeah.
in the 6th grade, we learned about World War II and who the bad guys are. Okay. The bad guys. And then
Right.
in ninth grade, when I had been off for 2 years, 3 years, however long, and we were learning about World War II again and who the bad guys were. And I'm just like, I feel like I've heard this before. And then sophomore year is the same fucking shit. And then in
Yeah.
junior high, guess what?
What?
Guess what, Dino?
Mm,
Again,
same thing.
same thing. And then by the 11th, the final year, I was like,
Yeah.
school bullshit. Because they're lying to me about something. Because why are they so adamant? Because like it's like when you date that toxic girlfriend,
Mm,
and then all they want to do is talk about their ex the whole time.
yeah.
And you're
It
like,
it
but you kind of piss me off, lady. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like you kind of start a lot of fights. And I
listen.
see why your boyfriend beat you up. I see why.
Remember
I'm
we
not
had
saying I'm gonna
Lily.
do it. I'm just
No.
saying.
No. It's not a threat. Just saying, hey, maybe you're acting a little bit weird.
Right.
Right? Maybe you have some things to work out. Remedial World War II classes replace geography. That's not a move forward, friend. That's a lateral, if not dip down.
That's the funny part. I didn't know where Germany was until like 2 years ago. Like, why they're telling me Germany's bad guys. I don't know where Germany is. I don't give a fuck.
No.
Never told me where it was. But I
I
mean, I could have missed that class somewhere in between 1st grade or kindergarten and 4th grade, and then again in 7th and 8th. Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
that's on
fair.
me. But I feel like it's crucial information. If you want somebody to be sold as the bad guy the whole time, you should at least tell me where they are.
Well, I feel like that's how you stay away from the bad guy. If you know where they are, you're like, well, if
Right.
the bad guys are there, I'm gonna not go there. But
Right.
yeah.
But when I found out where the KKK were in my neighborhood, I stayed away from that area. It was in the woods
Yeah.
where I lost my virginity, not too far from that area. So I was just like, after that, the girl I was fucking, I was
Yeah.
like, let's not go in those woods over there. Let's go over in those woods over there. I didn't,
That's
all I
fair.
saw was Black Panthers over there.
I mean, listen, I'm really glad that you mentioned that it was a girl. That's all. That's all that makes matters to me. That's right. That's why he thinks Toronto is on the Atlantic coast. I mean, technically, it is still the Eastern Seaboard, but it's hey, trust me. I had
It's
a
further
teacher.
east than I am, and you have to assume, go fuck yourself, bro. I'm not calling you by your whole name either. I know that's not your real name. I went to enough school to know that.
I mean, that's fair. That's
That's too
aha.
long
Jokes
to put
on
on the
you.
birth certificate.
They did teach him subterfuge. Um,
And it was one of my band's names. I don't know what it means though.
look, the thing is like, especially with how things have gone over the last few years, where news was just absolutely manipulated and blown out of proportion, it became
Hold on,
news
put a name on
entertainment,
it.
right?
Hold on. Put a name on it. Fuck you and read a map. I'm a millennial. I have GPS. What the fuck do I need a map for?
Jokes on you, he can't read.
And
Uh-huh.
they don't sell maps at rest stops anymore.
Yeah. Oh, bro. My dad had like top tier maps. Like we had for all of North America. You could not get lost. I had a brother who like constantly would get lost though. It was hilarious. He would get lost in a paper bag. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, bro, just look around. What, like, where do you want to go? Oh, I'm downtown Toronto. Look for the CN Tower. It's not that hard. Like,
isn't that crazy though? Because I'm not geographically inclined whatsoever, and I'm not real good with like east, south, and west. I have a lake which is directly north of me. That helps me immensely. So I know exactly where the fuck north is all the time. It's the lake. It's north. You just go that way towards the lake. I know that would. So left is west, right is east, down is south. That helps me immensely. If I didn't have a lake, I would be so fucked about north and south and west and all that. But with that said, I'm really good at getting unlost. Isn't that
I think that's an important skill. Yeah.
I know where the fuck things are. I know how to get to where I need to go.
Yeah.
I know how to go home.
See, I've only been lost 6 times. Yeah, 6 times in my entire life. And 5 of those I figured it out. One I had to get a map out and like fucking actually stop and be like, okay, fuck, I don't know where I am. But every other time, like,
so I get lost a lot, but because like kind of on purpose though, because like I'll just take turns that I've never taken before just to see where it goes.
I'm different.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because I will see roads that I've never been on and I'm like, never been there.
Right. I want to go that way and see.
I want to check it out. Well, I don't necessarily go there for the sake of going there because I don't know where it's going, but I'm like, I will just kind of be like, I haven't been this way. I'm going to check it out because that's.
Do you have traffic like Cleveland does? Not traffic, but like when I say traffic, because you have traffic, but like construction traffic is what I mean. Where they just close off roads. Because you're in the Rust Belt, Salt Belt, whatever too, right?
Oh yeah.
Kind of? So when traffic is like unusually congested, I'll just turn off. All right, let's see where this road takes me.
Which works a lot. So up here, they will. The common expression is there are actually 2 seasons in Canada: winter and construction.
Right, same here.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So that's the thing is we both get very similar weather. In actuality, you guys sometimes get it quite a bit worse than we do. Which is hilarious.
Canada's like dump weather.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I'll be honest with you, but you know who gets it worse than both of us? Buffalo.
Buffalo's way worse.
Gets slaughtered.
Yeah,
it's very.
But I would hate to live there.
Yeah, I've been to Buffalo a few times during wintertime, and I'm like, yeah, you guys have way more snow. And they're looking at me and they're like, but you're from Canada. I'm like, yeah, it's only an hour that way, dumbass. And they're like, yeah, but I'm like, yeah, this has everything to do with just land and
right. Like it would take me if we didn't have to go around the lake, you and I could probably be at your house in like an hour and a half. If I could just go straight through the lake.
Oh, you should get a boat.
Yeah, if I get a speeder boat.
Get a little boat.
Hour and a half.
Here, finally something we can all agree. Oh no, hold on, right here. Buffalo sucks. We can all agree on that. I was from Rochester, so I can. Hey, from Toronto, we can see Rochester on a clear day right across the lake. We can see Rochester.
Buffalo girls are like hoes, though. They're always trying to stay warm.
Bro, there's nothing better though when somebody says I'm from New York. You're like, oh yeah, where in New York? They're like Buffalo. They're like, you're not from New York.
Says that.
You're not.
Says that. But my experience, at least, unless they're ashamed of it, but most people I know from Buffalo are so excited to tell you they're from Buffalo.
Oh, those aren't.
They're just like there's something about it. They're so prideful of that town.
I believe that's the same thing with Chernobyl. They're like, I lived in Chernobyl for 6 years. You're like, you shouldn't brag about that. We can tell by your third arm. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah. Rochester is shit now too. I mean, everywhere is becoming shit. It's quite frustrating. But what can you do? I feel like we're
DoorDashing kind of fucked up cities. You ask me, because like now you just have like some rando driving through your gated residential.
Yeah. It's one of those things where
with everybody you're mixing the groups too much. So like next thing you know, the 22-year-old fucking DoorDasher is banging your 18-year-old daughter who's home for summer break, putting a baby in her.
I mean, it's the same with banging the pizza delivery guy. right? It's
Yeah, but that
basically the
doesn't
thing.
happen as much. Now everybody's always getting anything delivered to them. And it doesn't even stop at food. Because like people get fucking what is it, Amazon Prime packages and fucking what is it, laser shipped and all that shit now too, and just different all kinds of different packages. Where you used to it was just the mailman, and you knew the mailman was going to bang your wife. You could live with it because he was a government worker. You know what I mean? Like he's just like he was a good guy. You know,
Hey, there's nothing,
and he did like
nothing.
he's got a dog.
Hey, there's nothing more revealing than all the husbands on a street realizing that they have a new hot mailman, and you're like, nah, he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him like immediately. That shit, that like, oh, I'm your new mailman. Oh yeah, just visiting everyone. Introduce myself. Not here, son. I'll shoot you. That's
Get
what's
the
gonna
fuck
happen.
out
Yeah,
of here.
yeah.
That's when you invest in a Rottweiler. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Oh yeah, and you train them to kill mailmen. Like that's. I
Well,
kind of understand why people hate mailmen, just because you're like, yeah, you're out there fucking people. That's don't do
right,
that. You
right.
know,
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'm just
back
dropping
then,
off the mail, having a little sex. What's the big deal? You're like, it's a big deal. You're
back
gonna
then you
die.
didn't even know that a government worker would do that to your wife. You know what I mean? Now you
Yeah.
know, and like government workers in general just have like a stink on them now. Like the is what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
What?
I can't think of the word. When a stigma,
Yeah.
You know, being a government worker, you know they're lazy for one.
Yeah. Well,
So
you just assume that they can't get it
I
up.
think yeah, and they
So
just
the
want to
government.
take everything but but their own shit, like taxes for one, and your wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Happily, happily. I moved to Georgia 10 years ago. Not shit here. It's unbelievable. Taxes are 1/5 of what they were in New York State, and we have way better schools and communities. I know you won't believe it. No, I definitely don't believe you.
No, we believe it. The South. I'm from Texas. Um, and yeah, no, the South in general just does not give a fuck about taxes. Like it's so nice. I miss that.
It's too,
I hadn't
hey,
even heard of income tax
it's
when I
too
came up
hot
here.
in the it's too hot in the South to worry about taxes. I think you guys are confusing the milkman with the mailman.
Me
So
too.
I
Me
feel
too,
like
but I'm a government worker. We
it
all
was the
knew about the
milkman.
milkman.
It was
What are you gonna do? You need milk.
the milkman in originally, and then they stopped delivering milk, and then it became the mailman, right? We're just too young to realize it was the milkman.
So
And
right. So the milkman, we all knew it was the milkman, but we needed the milk. Okay. Nobody needs the mail. Nobody gets anything good from the mail. But the thing was, when you were off at work and we finally got rid of somebody invented the refrigerator to get rid of the milkman. Okay. Somebody was having his wife fucked
yeah, yeah,
real good,
yep,
point where she was not interested in fucking him when he came home. So he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna invent the fucking refrigerator. That's what I'm gonna do. And
yeah,
then we were able to buy milk from the grocery store and we
and they would
stayed
laugh.
good for fucking a week or two,
Yeah,
you know. And then guess what happened? Guess what happened? That woman got sad for about 3 weeks because nobody was coming around
yeah.
fucking her while her husband was at work. And she saw the mailman and was
Yeah.
like, all right.
It's
And
and
that's
she
when
was like,
mailmen started getting hot. They started
part
working
two,
out.
and then the mailman started getting hot, and everyone's like, all right, killing the mailman too, no problem.
Right.
Hey,
And
and then
that's
email
how
was
you know
created.
all's fair in love and war.
That's how. I mean, that's fair. No, it's not too hot. They lie about it to keep the Yankees out. I mean,
It is too hot. Okay, it's too hot here.
it is too hot. Yeah.
It was 97 yesterday. It's 93 today. It's too hot here.
Put your name here. I feel like you might be a woman or something because you're just like, oh, I don't mind the heat. You're like,
Right.
It sounds like a woman's shower.
Like
She's like, that's why every time yeah, no. Every time I've gotten in the shower after Victoria, and I'm just like, why is it so hot in here? She's like, oh, I like it hot. I'm like, yeah, you're preparing to go to hell. How is this so? It's ridiculous.
Well,
It's
that like most women don't even wear clothes anymore. You know, like
also true. Yeah.
like I didn't like. I think I'm starting to get to that age. You know, where I'm
Mm.
like driving by and I look at women like this feels like there are prostitutes everywhere. Like
It's a trap.
5 years ago, even I was fine with it, but now I'm getting older and I guess more conservative. I'm just like, oh, put clothes on, lady. Like,
I mean, so this is the thing: is that there's a fine line between should like an age You sound like an old man. Yeah, he does. No, the milkman brought something you needed for baking, but the mailman only brings bills and garbage out of it. Trust me, no woman a woman wants to see a mailman. That's the spirit, Sasha.
Hey,
Thanks for being on our side. No, it's
in this
fine.
scenario, though, your wife is staying home, right? So, assumably, she's the trophy wife, the housewife, whatever you want to call it, and the man's making all the money, which means it's not a problem for you because you're not paying them the bills.
Yeah.
You don't associate negativity with the mailman like the fucking husband already does. Oh, you brought me my fucking credit card bill and fuck my wife. Oh, I got
yeah. You're definitely getting shot on that one. Yeah, it's see, I'm
calling off tomorrow.
You're gonna have to learn how to run, son. That's right. Fair. No, it's one of those things. Put your name here says, nah, I have a penis. Did it melt off? It's pretty hot outside. Yeah, just gonna say.
Hey, is it a new penis? Is it recently installed?
Did you get upgraded? What happened? What just
right?
Yeah, it's actually crazy hot out here. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for that. No worries. Feel free to like and subscribe. Otherwise, God won't love you. Yeah, no, this is the problem, Cole, is that you know what, you go out and you see people like I've told the joke for years, and I've told it to women and they laugh because I'm like, there are two things that are impervious to cold. Number one is polar bears. Number two is sluts. And this is just go out to a club during the wintertime and you're like, people are freezing and women are wearing ridiculous clothing that you're like, how are you not dying?
The weather doesn't affect them at all if you think about it, because they'll wear nothing in the cold, but then what they're fucking hot water shower fucking scalding, like it's weird.
And then people are like,
to warm them up from all of last winter, they still haven't warmed up in the middle of summer.
Basically, I don't know any woman who doesn't have to work. So yeah, no one cares about the mailman. I mean, that's fair.
Now, but that's what I'm trying to say. Nobody fucks the mailman now.
Yeah, because he's a bastard.
Back then, it was a government worker.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. The boomers love government.
Yeah, they do. It's yeah. I feel like too many people are working now. This has all been a ridiculous trap, right?
It's working and not working, right? Okay, so like it seems like everybody has 3 jobs, but if you go out at any time in the middle of any time of the day,
people are everywhere
before dark. It's just like all day is rush hour. Like, what's going on with the Matrix here, guys? You're not even trying.
Yeah, it's very perplexing for the simple fact that like there are too many people out doing stuff. Why isn't everyone working?
3 jobs, right? Supposedly.
And yeah, it's very odd. I don't know. And then also too, like there's why W.
I think this is very true.
Very well, yeah. It's like it's kind of like when you tell kids, be like, oh, can't you wait to grow up? And they're like, yeah, I don't want to grow up and make decisions. No, you don't. That's a trap. And then people are like, you need to be independent and have a job, and nobody can tell you what to do. The government can, and it sucks. That's the truth, right? We've all been bamboozled into this whole idea that we should all be working like slaves and just ruining our days. It's horrible. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot on the internet. Aha.
The problem is, like you said, all's fair in love and war, and we're at war, a class war, and we're losing.
Definitely.
The middle class don't even fight anymore. That's what's so sad. I feel like I hate the rich and I hate the poor, but I'm starting to not fuck with the middle class too, because they're a bunch of pussies. They never stand up for themselves.
Well, they weren't before. Bro, this is the whole thing. And I actually just saw a TikTok about it when I was having smoke before this, was that it was like, you don't go begging for a job. You're a man. Go make a job for yourself. And you're like, shit. You're like, it's fair advice. But that's like the idea of working for someone was only to learn and then you'd go do your own thing, right? Like that's how things were until like I use the example that like if you go back to the 1900s, only like a small fraction of the populace, like 5% of the people, were working in office type scenarios, right? Like that wasn't a thing that people did and the rest were working in some sort of agricultural or labor intensive job. That's the mix. And now those numbers have switched, right? So you have a shit ton of people who are just sitting at the desk typing away all day, which is horrible for your body, horrible for your self-esteem, horrible for everything, and just your health in general. Versus on the other side of things, you have, only a few people working physically, and and even they are, being loaded up with dog shit.
Right.
Oh, well, Sasha's just bragging that she got her nails done. Sorry,
Well,
my
you
nails.
got new nails, huh? Send us pictures. Let's see. Let me see.
The one of those, yeah, I'll never understand why we all fell for the whole idea that everyone needs to be working 90 hours a week and stuff. Like I remember growing up, and it was like, oh, you should want to work more. You know, that sets you apart. And you're like, that was also a trap, because that has never been proven for me. Every time, yepers. Yeah, definitely got, every woman wants to be complimented on her nails. Even Victoria was like, I got my nails done. I'm like, yeah, they look great. Before she even shows it to me, I'm like, they look beautiful.
Well, Obama kind of fucked us.
Yeah.
With the Obamacare, because I was too young to remember why. I was probably like 18, 19. Yeah. I was 18 when he was reelected for his second term. So I was probably like 20 when everything went into action with Obamacare. I just know that me and everybody I knew, hours who were making 40 plus hours, dropped to 28. Just all of a sudden. And then the way it was explained to me was, anybody making 32 hours or more was required by any businesses to get healthcare through the business you work for. So they just cut us all to 28, and then gave us 1 or 2 extra hours as needed. So then you had to start looking for a second job, and that's when that started. Had been 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, before my kid was born.
Yeah. Which is, and that's the ridiculous part, is you're like, oh, everyone that works more than 32 hours needs to have healthcare. They're like, cool, we're gonna cut everybody to 28. You're like, no,
just hire more people, right?
That's the stupidity of it. They're like, well, we don't want everyone to have healthcare. No, you do want everyone to have healthcare. If you don't,
and to Obama's credit, I don't think he intended for that to happen.
No,
but he didn't think everything through either, did he? You didn't think about how fucking scummy these fucking people are.
So scummy. Our parents instilled that into us, that we had to, because that was how it worked in their generation, right?
Yeah,
like,
but they're fucking Chinese. We're American. It's a different thing.
It's not. It's not. See, that's the crazy part, is you think it is. It's not. It has nothing to do, because I'll tell you, if anything, they work harder, and they're like, you don't complain for shit. You just do your job, and you're like, all right, this is horrible.
All right, I'll recant my statement and I'll finish back where I left off at Chinese. Victoria, you're Chinese. I was raised by an American woman, a Western woman. Okay, no father.
That's strike one. Just go.
Right. There's no. You should have to work hard. It's all. We shouldn't have to work this hard.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's all I hear from these white bitches.
I mean, like, but see, now where do you think that came from? Like, because this is the horrible thing. Yeah,
fair. They're not designed to, if you ask me. They're supposed to be home. Like, I agree with them.
It's not even that, but like, they're kind of right. We shouldn't have to work this hard. This is ridiculous. We have technology, we have machines and stuff. Why do we have to work so? Like, no, this is stupid. And you're like, I mean, technically not wrong. I don't agree with it, because I don't mind working, but
I thought about this today. As a matter of fact, I thought. If you think about it, if we're not making enough money, so we're falling into debt, we're gonna just say fuck it and go to work as much as we can at the warehouses where they're building the artillery for the wars that our brothers and our sons are gonna get drafted into. You know what I mean? We're too tired and too broke to give a fuck. Even though we give a fuck.
The worst part is that young people shouldn't be the ones being sent to war. It should be people who already have kids. That's really what, like, because the whole problem is, if you send young people, they won't have kids.
Right.
Right. And that's actually, Sasha, you bring up a good point. Honestly, no matter what I think, Americans still have things easier than Canadians. Americans can buy a house for 200,000, the size of a large house, but in Canada, it would cost you 1.5 million for the same house. There's a guy.
Real quick, I'm not gonna argue with you there, Sasha. I think America probably has the easiest in the world. So, like, but
Isn't that weird?
It sucks here still. I mean, so I know it sucks everywhere else.
But this is the thing, is like, no one ever pitched anything but the American dream, right? Like that was, oh, you go get the American dream. Like that was the whole thing, right? And the worst part is, you're like, yeah, the American dream was real, bro. Like there's no question about that. The problem is now it's dead. And everyone's like, well, you go to America and get fucked. That's what you're going to do, right? It's horrible. Even now, like, look, they were like, when did I buy my condo? I bought my condo in 2007, 2008, around there. And I picked that up for a steal and sold it during the pandemic, and worked out great. It was fantastic.
I'm an Exeter. I'm the last generation to have it easy.
Hey, I just got in by the hair of my chin and chin chin. Seriously.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me. I know. I put that together.
Oh, yeah. And that was, and you know what? And yeah, that's it. That now when I hear stories of people, like, I remember doing mortgages for people. I had a guy who's like, yeah, this is he wanted to buy a house with his wife, and I'm like, great. He goes, what do we qualify for? I'm like, yeah, they both had really good jobs. So I'm like, yeah, you qualify for $1 million. And he goes, okay, so everything we've seen in our area that we want to get is listed at 650, but we have lost out on 3 homes so far. So we're actually going in with 950 to make sure we get it. And I'm like, okay, you got to send me a bunch of documentation to make sure it works. They're like, okay, no problem. And sure enough, it did. But he's like, yeah, we want to make sure. And they paid it off early and a whole bunch of stuff. But I was just like, bro, they were paying $300,000 on top of what the price was by the real estate agent to make sure they got it. And I'm like, that's nuts. Like, you should leave the city. Don't do that. But in the end, it was the right decision, and things have only gotten significantly worse for real estate wise. But there was a guy on TikTok who was comparing Canadian real estate to literal castles in the UK. And it was like, yeah, so $500,000, you could buy this castle that's completely furnished, has its own moat and all sorts of shit, or you could buy this dog shit house in Vancouver. And you're like, you couldn't afford a dog shit house in Vancouver because it looked like dog shit, and it also cost like $750,000. It's crazy. And that's happening in Toronto too right now. You go to shitty neighborhoods and you're like, nothing is under $500,000. You're like, Jesus, this is a shit neighborhood. You're like, why would I buy here?
Canadian money. So what is that, like $80? I'll send the $80 to you buy a house. Give me a couple weeks to save the $80.
There you go. Problem is now in Canada that if you are to pay off the house, the government will then turn around, overtax you because you own your house. I think we're the only country that does that right now. Our government is, no matter what, they'll obviously pay. But yeah, so they've included taxes for if it's not owner occupied, if it's a rental, you get an extra tax, and you're like, hey man, you guys need to figure out the city because you guys are fucking up everything. Like, we just got
started on property tax,
bro.
Don't even start. Hey. That drives me. That pisses me off more than income tax.
Oh yeah.
I pay rent on a house I supposedly own. That on what pisses me off the most about that is, like, by the time you hit 65, assumably that's when you're going to retire. In a perfect world, right? So you're on a fixed income. Hopefully you saved up and got a pension on top of the fucking Social Security. But regardless, you're on a fixed income, and I don't own my house. I have to pay a fucking yearly fucking couple $1,000 fee. Go fuck yourself. Go.
Is that real? I gotta Google that. Newest law is that if you pay off your house, then you just get a mortgage. That's fine. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you pay property tax every year.
No. But she's saying you pay higher taxes. Do you pay more taxes if your house is paid off? Okay.
Well, I don't even understand what. You pay more. You pay up.
If your house is paid off.
There's a paid off fee. There's an owner fee.
Yeah.
Home tax.
And in Canada. Yeah, I gotta Google that. That's what I don't see anything about
I'm
that.
gonna build a guillotine.
Yeah, bro, we gotta start sharpening them. It's things have
I'd be
gotten
like, why does he keep going to Harbor Freight? Oh, he's been using his debit card all the time.
just making things. We're making things happen. As of this year, there's now a homeowner's tax for owning. Oh God,
Put
that
two
is
heads in a 5-gallon bucket.
like owner's tax. Canada. What is this? This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I just got to confirm it. So
When you're in Canada, you don't have a constitution. I do. That's why it's irksome to me. You don't get any. You don't get to be mad. You live in fucking BFE Canada.
what is that? Underused housing tax is an annual federal 1% tax on the ownership of vacant or underused. So there's a 1% tax if you're not using your house, which is insane.
1% of 1.5 million.
Yeah,
What is that?
15,000.
Jesus Christ, a year?
Yeah. As of this year, it's a homeowner's tax for owning your home.
Suck
Yeah,
my dick, bro. That's more than 1,000 a month.
yeah,
You
yeah,
might as well just fucking rent a house for that fucking price.
yeah. I like that. That's the problem is they're trying to incentivize not owning a home.
That's what I'm saying. At least if you rent a home, it's somebody else's problem when the fucking pipes burst.
The hilarious thing is they just changed the law too, where they're like any house you no longer. Yeah, the newest tax is starting. It's just passed when they did our election, which was yeah. Anyways, everything's a shit show right now. But one of the things they did pass was
You
that
give me like a $15,000 bill.
can you imagine?
Oh, I'm getting a gun. I don't care how illegal it is, bro.
Well, this is, and the other thing is too, they just changed the rules that you don't necessarily need. So you need a permit to build, but you don't need a permit to grant the opportunity, so that if there's a home, you can build a 6-unit rental property on it. Which you're like, what? Which, yeah, things are changed. They're trying to incentivize people to sell their homes so that everyone can just make condos everywhere. Which you're like, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. But what can you do? It's crazy. This is the problem: is everything is fair in love and war, and we don't even know we're at war. That's the real problem, right? We're definitely not in love with the government.
Yeah, and
That's
our
for sure.
president just deployed the Marines on LA and then just dropped bombs on Iran. Can't trust that motherfucker no more. Not only that, but he's a fucking big nose lover.
There's that. That's one of those things
anything for that fucking country, which is why he bombed Iran.
Yeah, well,
it's not our problem, you know.
And yeah, so condos have this weird wave of things where they will actively like be profitable, and then all of a sudden they are no longer profitable. So they're like right now, there's a lot of people who picked up condos during the pandemic that are just finishing their build right now, and the problem is when they go to value it, the government is, or the real estate appraiser is like, oh yeah, it's not worth what you paid for it, so you need to come up with an extra $100,000 of your own money just to close the gap. And you're like, ah shit. I had that happen with a couple of clients back in the day. It's fucking horrible. So then essentially you bought it at a list price of $500,000. You got approved for a mortgage for $500,000. But now the bank says, actually, it's only worth 400. So you need to come up with more down payment to cover that gap, because we'll only mortgage XYZ amount. So it's quite frustrating to say the least. But that's the thing, is they're incentivizing the idea of, no, you should just rent. And you're like, well, I don't want to rent. Why would I do that? You know? But yeah, it's weird. It's when you ran out of people to fight outside of your country, now we start getting screwed by our people inside our own country. And you're like, that's not helpful. Not helpful at all. But it's definitely,
when you let everybody from other countries into your country too.
See, that's the thing though, but that's been happening for so long at a reasonable amount that nobody had a problem with it. And then like so for us, we've had like 4 million people drop in since the beginning of the year and you're like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" When normally it's like 120,000 people. Like it's very aggressive in that fashion. You're like, that this is doesn't make any sense. Like whoever made these plans ain't doing it, right?
I'll
But
stop you right there though, because I was like 16, I think. I was in
yeah.
high school, and there was this like Mexican, and he was like legitimately Mexican. His name was Victor, and I
Mhm.
called him Vic. And he was telling me one time that when he graduates, like when he's 18, he's gonna have to go back to Mexico. So like he needs to find a white woman to marry,
Yeah.
before then. And I'm just sitting there like, I like you, Vic. We're homies, like we're cool. But all of your cousins and all of your other like homeland people, like we can't have that. You can't be taking all my women. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's that. Sasha, you bring up a good point. It's sad. My own daughter is 17 years old, told me that she'll never be able to afford a home, so that I need to turn my basement into an apartment. So when she gets married, they can live there. I hope by the time she gets married and we have changed. I mean, so here's the other thing is that,
just change the
like,
locks on one day. She'll figure it out.
well, so like one of the,
I'm
uh,
fucked up with that.
what horrible. One of the things that like was surprising to my dad was the idea that people don't have family homes that they can go back to. Like
No,
it was a
fuck
weird
no.
thing. Well, but that's the thing is like up until I guess what maybe 100 years ago, like there was the family home. Oh, you got married. Okay, you either tried to build a cabin or you went somewhere. But like that's when like dowry came in. We're like, okay, so like I know for Greeks was they would give a plot of land. You're like, okay, that's the plot of land you could build there. So the wife's family would provide the land, and the husband's family would help build the house there, right? And then, well, then now you have your own property because realistically, especially when you get first married, you should be on your own, right? That way you can murder each other in peace and quiet, not having other parents jump in and be like, "What are you doing over here?" You know.
Well, the
But
problem with that is inspection, like the fucking mandatory inspection. But if we just went back to you can build your own home, and if you don't want it inspected, that's your problem. Sorry, and you're also leaving yourself liable of being sued if like
anyone
somebody
gets
who's
hurt, or,
not in your family is there when it happens. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so you should probably like hire your own private inspector is one thing, but government mandatory fucking inspections of houses and all this is what makes houses go up. Things like this,
true.
not even just that, obviously, but all these other fucking dumbass fucking bureaucratic nonsense. But not that, but it's the easiest time ever to build houses. I see fucking developments go up in 6 months. You know
Yes,
what I mean? Like
those
you can
houses. Just an
follow a
FYI,
blueprint now and then hire your own inspector.
well, so this is the thing too, is that people being capable to build homes is not a thing anymore, right? Back in the day, right? You had to know how to do plumbing, you had to know how to grow food, you needed to know how to build stuff, you needed to know how to do all these things, right? And then on top of that, you probably had a job, which you also had to know how to do. So it's like we don't we're being phased out of the idea that you can be self-sufficient, and even still, like I remember asking friends of mine because they were doing their masters or a doctorate, and I'm like, oh, what is it in? And they're like, it's in the study of this tiny minuscule area of expertise. And you're like, can you do anything with that? They're like, no. So I'm like, I have one guy who's like, yeah, I can't do anything with it, so I'm just gonna become a teacher. And you're like he became a professor at university, and you're like, oh, uh well, why are you studying it and then it's not worth anything? So how are you going to be educating people after that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? But I don't know. The hope chest of things is what my family stored for me. Basically, a brow shot. Yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult things are these days. But you know, uh, we got to fight. I feel like it's important that we're fighting for something as opposed to for nothing. Because right now, a lot of the times people are You know, it's I've said this before to you, and we were talking about it before, was the whole idea where it's not what you can get, it's what you can hold on to, right? It's what you can keep that matters. And the problem is that en masse, things are whatever you try and keep, it's everybody comes out of the woodwork. It's like, no, I want a piece, I want a piece, I want a piece. And you're like, hey, just fucking go get your own. That's it's
Like,
look, it's the same. You were telling me how it's easier to hit on a chick that's in a relationship versus someone who's single, because you're like, if you go for this woman who's single, you're fighting 20 other guys, whereas if she's in a relationship, it's only one guy, and you're like, shit. Like that, the logic is sound, but god damn it, that's horrible, right? That's not, that's why I'm like,
better if her husband's broke too.
Yeah, there you go. It's true. But that's the thing, is that's such a new, it's terrible logic. I know, but that's what people are living on right now. Because remember,
logic nonetheless.
It on top of that, people don't use logic anymore, right? People don't stop and consider. You're like, oh, when you marry, you're supposed to be in it. You're supposed to be trying to help each other. You're trying to grow and do your best. But people don't give a shit, right?
We don't have to use logic anymore. There are stop signs. You know what I'm saying? Just get rid of fucking stop signs and let people figure it the fuck out.
I mean, same with warning labels. I'm just, Cole, stop hitting on those not available.
Oh,
You can ask.
I have, because I live my living.
People give up too easily. 100%. I see. This is the thing too.
There's
is
a
that
reason why his husband or her husband doesn't fuck him. Her husband doesn't fuck her anymore. There's a reason. Yeah. Oh, my husband is I don't know. He just gets whiskey dick every night. Yeah, because he's sad.
Yeah. Congratulations, Cole. You've just united Victoria and Sasha against you. They're like, yep, stop doing that, Cole. You've been told. Consider it your warning.
I don't do it on purpose.
Oh, that's admirable. My thing is that I don't understand. Like, there is a lot of people who aim for that, and I'm like, yo, that's horrible. And also too, if you go with someone and they're full circle, everyone, that's how it's going. That says hi, Victoria. There you go.
I'm the mailman bringing a package to you.
Yeah. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. It's a meat lovers with extra sausage. No. This is that whole thing where, like, people do give up too easily. And also too is if you get with a girl by making her cheat on her significant other, you've incentivized that person to continue cheating, right? So Victoria says, hi, Sasha. There, now you guys are friends. Perfect. But like, that's, you're going, yeah, you're incentivizing the action that will betray you. And you're like, yeah, well, that's why the whole idea of people cheating, I'm like, oh, you're just a dog shit person. I can't, at some point you're like, okay, people are young and stupid, sure. But then you're like, yeah, but that, then you hit 18 and you're like, well, now you have to be responsible. It's confusing to me, but it's, you only know what you know. And the rest of it, you're in the dark. It's so exciting. Why are you making serious faces now? Is it because you're sick? Did your drugs wear off? Is that why?
Yeah, I'm getting tired, actually. I took the sleepy time.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much doing a show like this takes out of you. It is quite a lot, because you have to be entertaining and, but hey. Do we know what we're cooking on Saturday by any chance?
Or Monday.
I know.
No.
It's called planning. All right. Well, in the meantime, we are going to have What the Fuck Wednesdays on Wednesday. We have Mental Health on Thursday. So come check that out. I may actually tomorrow, I'm meeting with a bunch of guys to film some stuff. We're trying to do a little short movie. What does that mean? What is that?
Supposed to be M and an H.
An M and an H? I mean, sure. Why not? That works. But then we have Hammer and Cheese on Saturday. We have I'm going to see my mom on Friday for lunch. That should be interesting. But
your mom?
Yeah. She's we haven't seen her in a while, so we're gonna go check. I'm trying to convince her to cook me something nice out of her little bag of tricks.
Have her on the guest for the show.
Yeah, well, she would be angry, and then you'd hear, "Oh, Dino, don't say these things." And I'm not gonna listen. It took me like 4 years for me to introduce my wife to you guys, and even that was like for a few minutes, and then that's it. And there was a distraction of food. I would never introduce my mom. You can lead a horse to water, but it needs to want to drink too. So it's not all one person's fault. Sadly, that's true too.
Am I the horse in this scenario?
Cool. Cole, you have so much to learn. That's the horn image of the devil. That wasn't sign language for letters. Oh, Victoria says, "You're the water, Cole." Yeah, there you go. That's fine. You got to entice the horses to come drink you.
I'm actually a ground sign, but okay.
I know that because my mother does sign language. Oh yeah, she does. I forgot about that. No, just trying to be a helpful person. I always thought about learning sign language, but then I have sausage fingers and. Victoria said, "You're the water. You have to get the horses." Horse. Yeah. I know, not baby mammoth. That was babam. It was more.
Yeah, I know what it was.
You know nothing, sir. Anyways, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Please follow us, Dino the Genetic Marvel, Sniff and Glue 22 on all social media platforms. We will be back in a couple days. But we are constantly uploading things, especially unless we're sick or maybe fighting for our life. You don't know. We do all sorts of stuff. You got anything to plug? No. This Friday, I am going to be performing live in Ajax. So let me know if anyone needs details of that. I am going to be posting it very soon. So that is going to happen.
Soap factory?
No. Why would I? I don't think it's Soap Factory.
No. Ajax.
It's a city called Ajax.
It's Soap Factory.
But hey.
Is that where the soap comes from?
No. Soap comes from.
Do you know about the soap Ajax?
Yes, I know about the soap Ajax. It does not come from there. It's just a city called Ajax.
Okay.
Why are you so mean to me?
I'm just asking. If you ask me, maple comes from Chardon, Ohio.
Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you in a couple days. Bye.